start by just saying that we have a new duly elected commander-in-chief who will be taking office this January. He won this election fair and square. But what I do want to say is that it's time in this world for Christians and true Christians to let their voice be heard. There's a segment of the population, the so-called evangelicals, who choose to believe or put out the notion that they are the so-called people of God while using the Bible to just do what they feel is right, irregardless of what the Word of God says. And there was a group of people in Jesus' days who did pretty much the same thing, and Jesus called them out. They were the Pharisees. But nonetheless, the Word of God is true. I have people who tell me, and I've heard it said, that our president-elect was appointed and chosen by God. Well, I'm not ready to refute that because God chose Pharaoh. God chose Nebuchadnezzar. God chose Judas. If you look at the history of Israel, especially in the days when they really fell, and they had the two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Judah. Out of the northern kingdom of Israel, there was not one godly king. And all of these kings came to power by God's hand. And even in the southern kingdom of Judah, there was only a handful of good kings, or godly kings, if you want to coin it that way. But what I do know, when we look at and examine the purpose God called people, God has never chosen an ungodly man to do anything godly. He used them to do his will according to his purpose, because his purposes will be fulfilled. But what I do know about God and the God that I serve, he's not a God that promotes hatred and bigotry, name calling, and just violence. And what I see in our current president-elect, and I pray for him, and I pray that he will be a man that will do not what he spewed, because you can only go by what you see. The Bible teaches us that you will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. And the only fruit that I've seen from our current president-elect, none of it is good fruit. But I know that God is in control, and he's using him both to will and to do of all his good pleasures. So this is not a message of pity, of down, of hurt. I am confident, full of confidence, brimming with hope, because I know that our God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can think or ask. He is the true God. And our president-elect and all those who are behind him, who has their own message, their own agenda. It's time for true Christians to stand up and defend the Word of God with the Word of God, not our own viewpoint, because that's all they give. But what does the Word of God says? My friends, I challenge you, my fellow Christians, to stand tall. Do not be disheartened, because the God I serve is still on the throne. I support our president-elect as he support God. And when he step out of line, I'm standing on the truth. May God bless you. May God keep you. Be encouraged.